provoking now. It's your attitude, mate. It stinks.
Bring yourself back down.
It stinks,
Bring
mate.
yourself back
It
down.
stinks.
Bring yourself back down.
Is this the way? Is this the way you treat every other member of the public?
No,
you think you're big and hard? You got a gun stuck to your leg.
When people talk to me like that,
You don't intimidate.
An armed police officer thought he could control the situation, but seconds later, this auditor completely flipped the encounter upside down. What started as a simple filming dispute quickly turned into a full-scale confrontation about power, corruption, intimidation, and police accountability. And by the end of this encounter, both sides completely lost patience.
shit, that's probably going to go onto YouTube. What you're filming in there is people's private vehicles, okay? And given what we do for a living, they probably don't want those registration numbers plastered all over the internet. Do you see what I'm saying?
No. My reply to that is, I appreciate what you've said, but as a police officer, and kind of hope you're intelligent enough to realise that people's registration plates means nothing from my video.
Right.
Simple being is, okay, the amount of dash cams kicking around, every vehicle floating around this country, you'll probably have a dash cam in your police vehicle or your private vehicle, so don't give me that bull crap.
Are you going to stop ranting at me?
Yes.
Okay. But dash cams don't record into our premises. That's what I'm saying here.
But dash cams is going to get reg plates going by hundreds times a day.
Right. You're not listening.
But dash cams is covered by the same law as my telephone, the same law as your CCTV.
My dash
so
cam doesn't go on YouTube and it doesn't record it for this police premises.
Is there a law? Is there a law that stopped me doing this?
No, there's not a law that's stopping me doing it. But I'm asking
All right,
you
mate.
politely not to.
All right.
All right.
And am I allowed to politely decline?
Eh?
Am I allowed to politely decline?
You can politely decline.
Yeah. I tell you what, guys, you're a wrapped up one today, aren't you?
We are.
Just for the record, mate, can we identify just for the record, please?
I don't need to identify.
Of course you do. You've interacted with a member of the public.
I haven't asked you for any of your details, so you've got a number on there.
I'm dyslexic, mate. Can you?
X07. That's all
Right.
you need.
And where you based?
Here.
What are you looking over there for? It's not obvious where you're based. You might just be popping in to see somebody.
You asked us. I'm looking at the building that I'm based at. All right.
Right from the beginning, this encounter explodes into tension. The officer approaches calmly at first, asking the cameraman not to film police vehicles and registration plates. But within seconds, the entire conversation flips. The auditor instantly pushes back, shutting down the privacy argument by comparing it to thousands of dash cams recording number plates every single day across the country. What makes this opening so powerful is how quickly the politeness disappears. The officer tries to keep control of the interaction, but the cameraman refuses to back down, repeatedly forcing the officer to admit there is actually no law stopping him from filming. Then the situation escalates even further when identification gets brought into the conversation, setting the stage for a full-blown confrontation. This is the exact moment viewers realize this is not going to be a normal police interaction.
You've got a cheeky attitude on you.
I haven't really.
You have.
You
have.
Look,
I'm asking you to verbally identify yourself, which is in your policy to do so.
X07, which policy?
Your policy?
Which policy?
Can you identify yourself, please?
And indeed, Y05.
All right. What's that SWAT badge?
Just a badge.
Oh, is it? No, I'm just curious what it is, mate.
Just a badge.
All right. Okay.
What's your name, fella?
Nobody needs to know my name.
Well, that's totally fine.
You know what I mean?
What are you doing?
Making a video.
Why?
Because I'm interested.
What? Interested in me?
Well, I'm interested in you now you've came out.
Right.
What's the purpose of your video?
What's the purpose of my video?
I'm just asking what you're hoping to achieve by making this video, what you're actually looking to do, what are you going to do with the video?
Well, when I visit places, I do, see what I can see, take shots and videos. I'll tell you in a minute. He's asked me a question, quite rude, butting in.
Oh, mate, you know what it is? Calm yourself down, right?
Right.
Is there any need for this? There's clearly not, is there?
His attitude, though.
You've come to us
He's
with your
asking you
face
a
covered
question.
filming into here.
So
So asking you to account for your
yes.
movements now?
I'll answer questions, yeah, but I can't speak to two people at once. I'll speak to you, but he butts in, or if I speak to you, he'll butt in. So who am I speaking to?
Okay, well answer me then.
Right.
You've come here with your face covered, being quite rude to us. Yeah?
Right?
We've asked you to account for your actions, that's all I'm doing.
And I've told you exactly what I'm doing.
You haven't told me anything.
You got on the defensive and got all rude about the dash cam.
Now the tension starts getting personal. What began as a disagreement over filming suddenly turns into a heated argument about police conduct and accountability. The auditor questions the officer's attitude, challenges police policy directly, and begins pressing them harder about why they're so defensive over a camera. You can hear frustration building on both sides. The officers repeatedly question the cameraman's motives, while the cameraman accuses them of trying to intimidate him instead of simply respecting his legal right to film. Every response becomes sharper, more confrontational, and more emotionally charged. At this point, neither side is backing down, and the atmosphere outside this police facility starts becoming extremely uncomfortable.
And me taking photographs of people's reg plates, which I've said before, you should be intelligent enough to see that.
Start insulting the intelligence.
So you're trying to say.
I'm not asking you to be insulting the ones. I'm asking you to account for what you're doing here.
I've told you.
What is the purpose? What are you hoping to achieve?
To make a video. And hopefully, well, it's a shame I haven't on this occasion, but I do like to have some kind of friendly banter, a bit of interaction with officers.
Good, which is good.
Which is good.
We want that.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Aye.
We want that.
Aye.
But what made you come here today and like now?
Because of the big police building.
It is. It is.
And just what I've read online, it's if the internet's right, it's some kind of tactical unit or building or something.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a training facility as well.
Yeah. Sort of.
Is that it?
That's
You
it.
can ask any questions you want, and we'll tell you the answer if we can.
All right. Okay then. Since I've got somebody who's willing to answer questions.
If I can.
To be fair, I don't think you will.
Well,
but
go on then.
I hope you'll try and, if you want to give us an honest answer, try and come up with a solution to fix the problem. All right? So, I'm hoping you're fully aware of the alarming about an alarming situation regarding the police.
For a brief moment, the temperature drops slightly as the officers begin explaining what the building actually is. The conversation shifts toward the tactical police unit and the purpose of the facility, creating the illusion that things may calm down. But underneath that calmer tone, something bigger is building. The cameraman carefully redirects the conversation toward public trust in policing, and you can almost feel the officers realizing where this discussion is heading. The interaction suddenly stops being about filming and starts becoming about the reputation of policing itself. This section acts like the calm before the storm, because moments later, the entire conversation takes a far darker turn.
Police officers abusing members of the public, they're committing sexual crimes against vulnerable members of the public. Often these victims are victims of domestic abuse and rape victims, and sometimes these cases are committed against children. So when I do come in contact with a police officer, I've even, I've spoken to superintendents across the country and inspectors, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, what's your thoughts on that?
I cannot give you any thoughts or any thoughts or anything like that.
So, if you can't give us an answer, what do you think as a police officer? How do I resolve it? How do we get around it?
Off my pay scale, that.
Do you know what I mean? As a human being, let's just take your uniform away, right? You're just a normal bloke on the street with me now, yeah?
Normal. You've got the camera on my face, so no.
What?
You can't ask us to come up with a solution to a problem that's been going on for a long time in such a short period of time, and I'm not going to commit the words that are on camera that might later on come back to haunt me.
I know, but
it's not something that I'm going to answer.
I can't answer that. I understand.
I
understand that you're videoing, but
yeah,
it's going to go on to YouTube or whatever site you're going to put it on. We're just cops.
It's a very, very valid question.
I know you're cops, right?
But we don't want to lose my job as well.
So why is a sergeant give us an answer? Why is an inspector give us an answer? Why have I had a superintendent willing to speak?
This is where the encounter becomes genuinely serious. The auditor launches into a powerful discussion about police misconduct, abuse allegations, and crimes committed against vulnerable people. The tone changes instantly. The officers suddenly become much more cautious with their responses, clearly trying not to say anything that could damage them professionally. Meanwhile, the cameraman keeps pushing harder, forcing them to confront uncomfortable topics about corruption, accountability, and public trust. What makes this moment intense is the imbalance in the conversation. The auditor speaks emotionally and aggressively, while the officers try desperately to remain controlled and neutral on camera. That contrast creates huge tension throughout this entire section.
There's other PCs. Are you PCs?
Yeah, we're just PCs.
We've had other PCs given, not you know, not giving us a kind of speaking on specific incidents, but they've actually stood with us and says, yeah, you know what it is, we actually stand with you because, I mean, anybody committing sexual crimes is wrong. But obviously when it comes from a guy or a woman in uniform, it's even more alarming because we are the ones that come to you guys for help, not to be abused after we've already been raped. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just we need you guys. I know you seem like you got a bit of an attitude, but I'm hoping the good officers, the good PCs, who's out on the street, you know, stand with us and stamp it out, report any suspicious activity.
Happen, should it?
I know it shouldn't happen, but it does, and it's vile, it's sick.
Oh, totally.
And I believe a lot of these things do get covered up. You know, because again, we can only speak about the police officers who's actually been caught, convicted, and now in prison. Which is absolutely brilliant. But a lot of the time, they don't even end up in prison. They get suspended sentences and all this kind of stuff. But what about the officers who's still serving, who's still taking statements from rape victims, who are still active and still committing these crimes, who haven't been caught yet? So we need officers like you to try and snuff them out and report any suspicious activity.
To be
Please.
honest, if there's anything like that going on that I know of, I would report it.
I would like to think so as well.
I would,
Well,
because it's not right.
That you've just said there, yes, I do agree with you.
Now the pressure really starts mounting. The auditor challenges the officers directly, demanding to know whether police actually expose corruption internally or simply protect one another behind closed doors. The officers insist they would report wrongdoing if they saw it, but the cameraman refuses to fully accept those answers. Instead, he pushes deeper into the idea that dangerous officers may still be operating within the system unnoticed. This section feels intense because the discussion becomes bigger than just these individual officers. It transforms into a debate about whether the public can truly trust the institution itself, and that creates a heavy atmosphere that keeps escalating minute by minute.
To be snuffed out.
So that's
I can't disagree with you, but I can't give you a long-term solution to that problem because I don't know the solution to that problem.
say corrupt.
I'm not saying I don't
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
And before you start saying corrupt or anything like that, I'm not saying I agree with it, and I'm not saying I would cover anything up. If I find out that something like that's happening,
I was just about to say corruption. Corruption, in my opinion, it starts from the very top, from the chiefs, from the top, from the Freemasons, and then it gets dwindled down. So the guys on the street, I know yous are not making the decisions. So yous are just taking orders. But
What orders?
so you don't like take.
I'm asking you specifically what orders in relation to the subject that you're on about. What orders?
So inspectors and chiefs and all that kind of stuff. So you're telling me they don't give orders to their next in command, then the sergeants get it, then they give you commanding on the street. So you mightn't have experienced it personally, but some of the commands and some of the orders that police are given, instead of questioning that order, they're just going ahead and doing it.
Absolutely not.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I can't speak for all cops, but for me, absolutely not. If I'm given an order that I disagree with, then I'll challenge it.
corruption is.
In relation to corruption, I would absolutely challenge that.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're standing there saying that, but a lot of officers don't. They just take orders and just.
But where are you getting that information from?
It doesn't matter where I get my information from.
The confrontation now moves toward police leadership and authority. The auditor claims corruption starts at the very top and filters downward through the ranks, accusing officers of blindly following orders instead of questioning them. This immediately puts the officers on the defensive again. One officer strongly insists he would challenge any unlawful or unethical order, trying to separate himself from the accusations being thrown around. But the cameraman continues applying pressure, questioning where officers really draw the line when authority is involved. This part is powerful because the debate becomes psychological. It's no longer just about laws or filming. It becomes a direct challenge to police culture itself.
Is it off of that? No. Well, I thought we were having a conversation.
Yeah, we are.
Right. Okay.
So just asking if you're able to quote something like that, I'm assuming you're telling us that that's fact. Where is that information? Like, what's your source for that information if you're saying that it's fact?
I've got sources everywhere, mate.
But something that can be, if you're asking us to account for actions, I'm asking you the same question. Can you account for where you're getting your facts from?
I don't have to discuss that, though, do I?
I'm not saying
No.
you have to, I'm just asking you if you will do in the same way that you've asked us
Yeah.
where we'll engage with you.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Okay. but you're not going to.
No.
Right? Okay.
All right.
That's absolutely fine.
All right.
Absolutely fine. Anything else we can help you with?
Unless you're going to give us a look around.
I'm not letting you in here, like. Absolutely.
Even with a big escort like you two, you got arms, you got weapons.
No, mate.
No.
Nothing. No, not at all, fella.
Can I just ask you? Are you recording?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a reason why none of you alerted me you were recording at the first opportunity? Like you are supposed to again in your policy?
Well, I'm just engaging with you. I'm in a public place.
Yes.
Recording in a public place, exactly the same as you.
Absolutely, but I'm not governed by any policies. You are.
Okay, absolutely fine. Earliest available opportunity, because you give me the opportunity to speak now. We're both recording you.
You really are arrogant, aren't you? You really are arrogant.
Not-
You are. You're arrogant. No.
Answer
No.
for your question.
It's the tone in his voice.
Everything suddenly becomes hostile here. The auditor questions why officers were recording him without immediately informing him, turning the conversation into another argument about policy and transparency. From this moment onward, emotions visibly take over. The cameraman accuses one officer of arrogance, mocks his tone, and even suggests the officer feels powerful because he's armed. That accusation changes the energy instantly. The officers attempt to maintain control, but frustration is now obvious on both sides. The calm professionalism from earlier sections is almost completely gone, replaced by open irritation and verbal confrontation. This is the turning point where the interaction feels closest to completely boiling over.
Mate, it's the tone in his voice.
It's not arrogance at all, all right?
It's not, mate. I'm not trying to provoke him out. It's your attitude, mate. It
Bring
stinks.
yourself back down.
It stinks,
Bring
mate.
yourself back
It
down.
stinks.
Bring yourself back down.
Is this the way?
No one
Is this the way you treat
raises
every other member of the public?
No,
You think you're big and hard? You got a gun stuck to your leg.
When people talk to me like that,
You don't intimidate us, mate.
I'm not
Your weapons
listening.
don't intimidate.
No one's trying to intimidate
What's
you.
your name? Just your first name? Just a sort.
Joe.
Joe. Nobody's intimidated or anything like that, all right? This is how we do speak to members of the public.
So-
right?
If you speak to members of the public that don't like me, you need to change it. You seriously need to change your attitude, like.
I appreciate
All right.
the advice. I'll take that on board, thank you.
Joe, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back in. I would like for you to stop recording because if you're going to do that, that's great. If you're not,
Even better.
yeah.
Even better.
We've asked you politely to desist from the action that you're doing at the minute. Like you say, I've got no legal power to say you absolutely can't.
Well,
But
this.
I've asked you.
So this is the thing. If I still stand here now and record and take photographs, by law, what can you do to stop me?
At this specific moment in time, I don't know. I could. I'm not saying I will do that. I could go back in and research that because obviously, as you can imagine, you're probably very well versed on the minute laws that apply to this exact situation. I have to know a lot of laws in order to do my job, so I would have to research any specific laws. If that comes to light that you are breaching any offences, then I would come down and deal.
In the final section, the officers appear eager to end the encounter, but the cameraman keeps pressing with legal questions about public property and filming rights. One officer even admits he may need to go research the exact laws involved, which the auditor immediately uses to undermine police authority and knowledge. The conversation spirals into sarcasm, mockery, and open disrespect. The cameraman questions police symbols, continues provoking reactions, and the officers finally lose patience completely. By the end, both sides are openly trading insults as the officers walk away frustrated and irritated. The confrontation finishes exactly how it began, tense, hostile, and unresolved, leaving viewers with the feeling that this entire encounter was one long power struggle over authority, accountability, and public scrutiny.